Listen to the radio.
All right, Dahr Jamail's our guest. Very brave investigative journalist, writing for Counterpunch and many other big publications. You can check out his website. We have it up on screen. It's dahrjamail.com. And his new book is The Will to Resist. We were just getting into these numbers. So between 1.2 and 1.4, just 3 years in, the Lancet British journal, which is totally nonpartisan, non-political, said over 600,000. And so you double that, it's 1.2 plus. This is an outrageous crime. And I know for good old boys sitting back at home, you know, it feels tough to beat up brown people, and they like watching bombs blow up on TV. This is an incredible travesty. What does the Middle East and Central Asia think of Obama? Are they buying all his bull?
Absolutely not. You know, just like people in Iraq didn't buy the Bush propaganda about freedom and liberation and all of this nonsense. You know, when you're there and you have a front row seat watching your people decimated in front of you, watching your home destroyed, watching your country burn in flames, you know, and of course all the neighboring countries of Iraq that are getting all of the Iraqi refugees flowing into them, sharing all of their wonderful stories of what it's like to live under U.S. liberation. Yeah, they don't buy it any more than they buy, you know, Barack Obama talking about change and, you know, I'm going to make peace with the Muslim world and all of this while escalating Afghanistan, using more drones, bombs continuing to fall in all the countries that the U.S. is occupying there. So, no, those words, they fell flat there even before he took office.
Dahr, in the 5-6 minutes we have left with you, I want to talk about your book some, and then in closing, the most interesting thing you witnessed when you were in Lebanon during that war that you just fell right into the middle of. But your book, I like it because it's not just the image of our troops that want to go out and shoot some Iraqi kids for fun. Most of the troops I talk to know the war is a fraud, don't like it, but the attitude is, well, we got to at least stabilize it before we leave. They kind of suck them into that lie, or, oh, I got to take care of my buddies. But the vast majority in polls want to come home. That's why Ron Paul got more political contributions than even Barack Obama from the military wanting to get the hell out of there. So your book, break down the people you talk to, the stories you tell in this book, because it shows the other side of the U.S. military.
Well, it really underscores the fact that, as you just said, the majority of troops in both these occupations are all for coming home because they're seeing firsthand that, you know, it's not a helpful situation to anyone involved in it. In fact, it's extremely destructive. And I basically I was going tour from my first book, and I started running into lots of veterans and active duty troops that were talking to me about, hey, our morale was extremely low, and we started dissenting and finding ways to disobey orders, even if it was indirectly. So doing things like search and avoid missions instead of search and destroy, where they would go and park their Humvees in the middle of the field and call in every hour and say, yeah, we're still searching the field for weapons caches. And they were doing this every other day. And then I ran into other soldiers, same story, different part of the occupation of Iraq, a different time of the occupation, totally different location, same exact story. So I started to realize, oh, actually there's a lot of dissent. And then, you know, dozens and dozens of interviews later with different veterans and active duty personnel, I had more than enough material for a book, probably enough for 2 books of, you know, folks doing, you know, publicly refusing orders to deploy here in the States to go back over. Folks that are over there, what are they doing to get out of it? Entire companies and platoons, I mean, that have actually had mutinies and refused to follow their orders in Baghdad and things like this. So, you know, these are people, this is not just they're doing it out of survival mode or sloth or whatever, but these are people really standing up and defending the Uniform Code of Military Justice that they swore an oath to, and that is that they are refusing to obey illegal orders. It's a given to anyone with any gray matter between their ears that the occupation of Iraq is illegal. It contravenes international law, as did the invasion, but so does the invasion and occupation of Afghanistan.
Well, all the studies show that the U.S. forces being there only make it worse. The globalists have been caught paying off different sides. What about even Ray McGovern documenting, but now it's mainstream news, that Cheney had them blowing up mosques and bombing buildings of Shiites to get them killing Sunnis and vice versa, and using Wahhabists to attack the Iranians and staging terror attacks. I mean, this is, and then now they caught British special forces in Basra London Guardian reported, dressed up with fake beards, running around shooting Iraqi police. I mean, this was a completely staged war. Did you get any intel on stuff like that?
Well, I've actually written that case you just mentioned about the 2 British SAS officers. This is extremely well documented. There's photographs. People could probably find them online right now of these guys, literally, 2 soldiers, shaved heads, dressed up as Iraqis with with wigs, with mustaches, wearing dashtashes, in a car full of explosives, and they were thrown in Iraqi jail, going to be charged by Iraqis with planting bombs near mosques to foment sectarian violence. And before they could be tried, the Brits razed the jail to the ground and got their 2 guys out. And then 2 weeks after that, a similar story up near Tikrit with 2 quote-unquote Western contractors. Same thing. So yeah, this is well documented, and this is not news. As you know, Alex, this is U.S. policy. This is how they've conducted their foreign affairs. Whether we talk about Central America or Vietnam, I mean, just pick a conflict. So Iraq is no different.
Yeah, there's the Army field manual that they got declassified 2004, from 2004. We put it on screen, and this is mainstream news. The Army doesn't deny it. They say, how dare you have it? But it tells Army captains, just standard issue, how to stage terror attacks. I mean, with their canteen and M16, they're going, here's how you stage terror attacks. I mean, how do they get farm boys to do stuff like this? Well, obviously, a lot of them get wise and don't want to do it. And I've interviewed these Marine Corps captains and people who see their own smart bombs, blow kids in half, and their humanity, and people lie. Oh, they're just cowards. Cowards. They don't even know who they're fighting. They're just running around arresting people so jail guards can rape them in Abu Ghraib. I mean, the job is to tear up Iraq and suck it dry. And just like Serbia, bombard any country that's sovereign, bomb it out, and take control of it. And I want the American people and British and others to know these same bankers are bankrupting us now. They're cold-blooded. They're monopoly men. They love dominating people. Dahr, your comment on that idea?
Well, absolutely. It's all about control, and that's why I read that quote from U.S. foreign policy defining documents, where it's all about global economic hegemonic control, using the U.S. military as the iron fist to make this happen. And in Iraq and Afghanistan are just the 2 latest iterations of that policy. And I think it will continue without fierce resistance at home and abroad. It's going to continue. But that's exactly what's happening. And the one silver lining to this dark cloud that we're amidst right now is that I think it could not be more clear. This cuts across all political lines. Everyone is seeing it, and I'm not trying to be overly hopeful, but that is a good thing. That the fact that more people are seeing it today than ever before.
Well, look at the United States. Bills to audit the Fed with 260-something sponsors. Everybody talking about the global corporate crooks, the left, the right waking up. Dahr, these are very exciting times to be alive, but I don't put it past Obama and his handlers to stage terror attacks, to stage a Gulf of Tonkin like Cheney tried to do but got caught and Fox Phelan quit. So I think the good and bad news is that at least we're in this fight. At least the establishment is starting to run scared, and their aura of invulnerability, invincibility is starting to waver and fade. In closing, with any other info about Lebanon, your book, do the Iraqis, do the Lebanese understand that the American people are brainwashed and ignorant, but that are starting to wake up? Or what is their view? Are they sophisticated enough to understand that we're just under mind control? Or what's the view over there? And what's Iraq's future? And where is all this going?
Well, it's grim, especially in the Middle East, because that is, currently where, more people in the world than anywhere else are bearing the brunt of U.S. policy. But, they're very clear. Unfortunately, it's pretty dark because people have seen, Obama comes into office, and what happened? The American people, what few who were overtly resisting under Bush have apparently gone to sleep. So they're kind of feeling left on their own at this point, which is a bit dark. But, again, I think that it's up to us. And, one hopeful thing that I got from working on this book about soldiers who are resisting. You know, if U.S. soldiers in the U.S. military structure, you know, a very, very harsh, difficult structure to operate in, let alone resist, if they can stand up and resist, and many of them come out all the more better from it, then, you know, what does that say to us in civilian society who can still, you know, go about and do essentially what we need to do right now, relatively? What does that say to us as far as, you know, a call to action, and what are we able to do, and what are we willing to do?
Dahr Jamail, always great to have you on, but I think what I get here is the world's waking up to this empire, this corporate empire that is using America as its muscle. But at the same time, Barack Obama is giving amazing aid and comfort to these global plutocrats, these kleptocrats, and that he just kind of took Iraq and all the carnage off the screen, out of sight, out of mind.